Good evening, everyone. Thank you for bearing with us on the time delay. So we had an executive session this evening to seek some counsel from our solicitor, as well as our annual review of school safety, both data and practices. So that's always obviously of keen interest to make sure that we're having a thorough discussion on that. So I appreciate everyone's patience. Tonight is Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. This is our last regular board meeting of the year and one that we all look forward to celebrate our retirees. So we'll make sure that we get to that quickly. Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. We are missing the flag.
Oh,
all right. We are going to find the flag.
That's what happens when they clean.
We may need to.
Do you remember when we used to do a virtual?
Yeah.
I know.
Perfect. All right, we're going to do an electronic flag. Bear
Okay.
with. You're going to see speed and proficiency of our tech team. Excellent. Well done.
It's definitely the. Any flags.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an American flag. Thank you. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With all topics like school safety and pledge to our flag, it's important to get it right. So thank you again for taking the time. For reading the mission statement, I'll turn to Ms. Hubley.
Of the School District of Springfield Township is to educate and develop all students as learners and citizens who are high achieving, resilient, and responsible in a changing global community.
Thank you. Let's go to roll call. Ms. Green.
Mr. Needleman,
Here.
Mr. DeFranco, Mrs. Hubley,
Here.
Mrs. Hughes,
Here.
Dr. Taratusky.
Here.
Mrs. Bell.
Here.
Mr. Jordan.
Here.
Mr. Bedard.
Here. We just have one more announcement this evening. Discretion may videotape all or any portion of the public board meeting subject to the limitations set forth in policy 006 for meetings. Board meetings will be broadcast on Friday afternoon following each board meeting. And rather than jump right into our reports and information, I think we'll go to our administrative report and Spartan Spotlight.
Mrs. Dottie.
Oh, wonderful. Excuse me. Our first order of business then will be our homeschool partnership update, and we have Ms. Christia Donahue.
I'll just recap that we anticipate having raised over $57,000 from our direct fundraising events initiatives this year, but we are finalizing our accounting with our end of year this month. To date, we've been able to provide our teachers and professional staff grants of over $14,000 for enhancing their classrooms and learning materials, as well as provided grade level grants to each grade for assemblies and field trips totaling over $6,600. We will be putting together a year-end report in July to share our final budget and community building successes that we will share with our community. I just want to highlight a few of the great initiatives that we started this year. We started a Sponsor a Spartan campaign that helps to promote working with our social workers and the students and the families that they work with directly. We were able to provide school photos, pretzels for Pretzel Fridays, T-shirts for every student who needed one for Color Day, which was over 40 T-shirts. We provided 40 wristbands to families free of charge to our carnival this year, and assisted fifth graders in attending all of the extracurricular events that they were able to do this year. We brought back all of our family fun nights for each grade, and those were a blast. We expanded our teacher appreciation initiatives to include the surprise teacher lounge takeovers at each school throughout the year. We focused on improving our communications with our new website, as well as our Spartan Spirit monthly newsletter and consistent room parent messaging. Our Sustainability and Garden Committee was very active this year, offering 2 family hikes, relaunching the recycling program at the elementary schools, adding new vegetable gardens at Erdenheim, and creating this beautiful new reusable tote. If anybody hasn't seen it. Perfect for the plastic bag ban here in the township. This summer, we are welcoming families to order their back to school kits through our partner, the School Toolbox. They're a new partner for us. We've expanded to now include the middle school in that as well, so that we can now supply kits for grades K through 8. And the link can be found on our website. Going into next year, we have welcomed 2 new board members that were voted in our May meeting, but we still have a few more spots available for anybody interested. Please email me, presidents@eehsp.org, for more information, or if you ever have any questions or comments or concerns. And we are already looking forward to our first event for the new school year on August 22nd, the incoming kindergarten picnic. Thank you. Any questions?
Any comments or questions for Ms. Donahue? Yeah, and Ms. Donahue, I'll add on behalf of the board, just thank you for your service, for the board service, and all of the volunteers. You're really living, I think, the Spartan pride through the homeschool partnership in a way that's really exemplary, and it sets such a wonderful tone for our students to see what appreciation and involvement really looks like. So thank you. It matters.
Thank you.
Okay, I will turn it over to Dr. Yannicone for our Spartan Spotlight.
Typically I begin with my administrative report, but I'm going to start with our spotlight because we have some very special guests with us this evening. We have several members of our retirement class of 2024. And so I'm going to invite up Dr. Chuck Rittenhouse to begin with our presentation of Mrs. Denise Buchanan, high school administrative assistant. Mrs. Buchanan, come on forward. I would stand, I think. Mrs. Buchanan, come on up.
Up here, I'm never sure where
That's perfect.
I'm very camera shy, as everybody knows.
I
so.
believe that Mr. McHugh was able to get you on camera right there. Right beside Dr. Rittenhouse,
here, we
where
can
you have
face-
stood for many years.
For those who don't know me, good evening to our guests. My name is Chuck Rittenhouse. I'm the high school principal. It is my honor to speak about and honor Denise Buchanan, who retired earlier in the spring from our wonderful high school. She told me she's been at the middle school twice. The first time was to meet me in the library. And I assume you voted yes for my candidacy because I was interviewing to be the principal a dozen years ago. And then tonight. So welcome. We've gone full circle. So Denise has worked for our district for 11 years, and we have worked together as a team for the last 10 plus years. I've known Denise, her husband Buck, and her 3 children since our days at Upper Dublin. Her kids were students when I was a principal at Upper Dublin High School, and I've known you for almost a quarter century. We are colleagues and dear friends. As an assistant to the principal, which is a very challenging job, I would argue more challenging to being the principal because you get the first phone call, you get the first visit, and dependable, hardworking, smart, helpful, funny, trusted colleague. Scheduled substitute teachers every single day with the budget, wrote purchase orders for many areas supporting the school, scheduling teacher observations every single day, a daily message to staff, which was inspirational and contained a lot of information, high school calendar, answering the always ringing phone and dozens of student visitors to the office looking for a piece of candy and to say hello, creating the graduation program and assisting with that wonderful evening, always steering me in the right direction when I was about to veer off course. I always appreciate that. And I wish you all the health and happiness in your retirement. It was an awesome 10 years. Congratulations.
Mrs. Buchanan, Dr. Rittenhouse can take one of those boxes behind him, which has one of our engraved vases for your home to commemorate your retirement. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And if Brandon Letts could join me for Ginny Wexler.
Yes, please. Ginny Wexler, please come forward.
Hey, Jenny. Take my glasses off so I can read. So tonight, I have the honor of recognizing a person who has dedicated 29 years of service to our school district. Our network manager, Ginny Wexler, has been a cornerstone of the tech department, providing invaluable expertise and commitment to ensuring our technological infrastructure operates flawlessly. When I first joined the district, Ginny immediately took me under her wing, guiding me with a straightforward, no-nonsense approach that I've come to deeply appreciate. Her willingness to share her knowledge of the district and expertise has been invaluable, and I'm grateful for her support.
And for nearly 3 decades, Ginny has been instrumental in maintaining our networks and significantly contributing to our school district. She began her journey as an elementary parent volunteer, later becoming a middle school technician, and eventually taking on the challenging role of network manager. In addition to her technical expertise, Ginny has also been actively involved in our school musical and plays, including outfitting me in my all-white tuxedo and wig last year during my one and only time I'll ever sing on the stage, creating stunning costumes that have brought our outstanding productions to life for many, many years. Ginny, your wit, honesty, and unwavering support have left a lasting mark on all of us. Your contributions have been instrumental in shaping the success of our school district, and you'll be greatly missed. May your retirement be filled with fun travels and cherished moments with your grandkids. Congratulations.
Ginny, thank you very much. Ginny has worked for 29 years and has in recent years been really challenged with cybersecurity and has done a phenomenal job in keeping the district as safe as possible. So thank you. And we're actually going to hand that microphone to Mrs. Brady, who's here to speak about our 3rd retiree. Mrs. Lori Pinelli is not here. I apologize. So you're going to have a seat again. And I'm going to talk about them. Okay, so that microphone can go back right on there and turned off. Thank you. I apologize. So I will speak briefly about the rest of our retirees, but thank you very much to our administrators for being here to recognize our retirees. So Lori Pinelli, math teacher, Betty Amaro, non-instructional assistant, LaRon Kent, transportation, Lou Cristaldi, transportation, Mary Ellen Flynn, instructional assistant, Flavia Movesian, instructional assistant, Susan Wozniak, food services, Kristen Scher, high school teacher, Nancy Eisel, instructional assistant, Janet Luxton, instructional assistant, and Craig Thorne, director of operations, who left us just a few months ago, a little early. But everybody else pretty much retired in the last few weeks. We are very grateful for your service. We recognize that many of our retirees are already off on their adventures and were not able to join us this evening, but we are very grateful for your service to the district and appreciative of all of your professionalism and years of dedication. And to Denise and Jenny, thank you very much again for being here with us this evening. We really appreciate the years of service, the friendship, and everything you've done to make sure that those departments and the high school and the district have been in good standing. So thank you very much. And then I'm going to give you the greatest favor of a retiree. Please don't feel like you need to stay for the rest of the meeting. Okay, you're welcome to stay if you like, but I'm going to give you permission to be unabashedly exiting stage left. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and I'm going to just have a few brief remarks this evening before we get to our agenda. Under news and happenings, in the last few weeks, we've had a second grade parade, a fifth grade moving up ceremony, an eighth grade promotion, and a class of 2024 graduation. These were wonderful events celebrating our transitional classes. Of special note, I want to say thank you to our high school team of staff and administrators and instructional support staff members. We had 100% of our seniors graduate on time in June, and that is a tremendous accomplishment. So congratulations to the high school and to all of our students who are transitioning. Thank you, Dr. Rittenhouse. I also want to recognize this year's 2024 high school yearbook, Retina, is a beautiful celebration of 100 years of Springfield Township High School. Our first class entered the doors in 1924. And so Mr. Gershman, our advisor, and our student editors did a phenomenal job working with the Springfield Township Historical Society to create a really beautiful piece of memorabilia. I just want to thank them for all of their efforts. It's a really nice keepsake. Also want to share that in the last 3 days since our students left us, our teachers have attended 3 days of professional development across the district with a focus on training for our transition to our new student information system, Power School, and Schoology, which is hopefully going to increase parent access to student information at the touch of their phones in the very near future. We also did training on our new K-6 ELA program, as well as departmental meetings that were focused on reflecting upon the year and planning for revision and refinement of our curriculum for next year. We're very grateful to our 10-month staff of professionals for their hard work throughout the year, and we look forward to seeing them again in late August when they return for all kinds of professional work, as well as our induction for our new staff members. We are just about staffed for next year. We just have a few positions that are posted, including one I'll mention in just a few moments. And then I want to mention that our extended school year program begins Monday, July 8th. It runs through Thursday, August 8th. I want to thank Dr. Dennis and Mrs. Schrage for their work in hiring and training our staff who'll be working with students over those summer months to make sure that they do not lose all of the hard work they've accomplished over the last school year. And then under agenda items, within human resources, you will see in addition to the personnel agenda, which you're used to receiving at every meeting, there are several items intended to offer substitute services to the district in several different areas. This will increase the likelihood of our ability to fill positions as needed when substitutes are required. We also are updating our pay rates to be competitive with our peers for our temporary staff. In addition to that, within personnel, I'd like to acknowledge and thank Dr. Fuller as he prepares to move on to Perkiomen Valley High School as their new principal. He's been a dedicated and collaborative member of our team for the better part of the past decade. We are grateful to him for his efforts to build and sustain a positive school culture and to hire a team who love and are happy to serve our middle school age students and their families. And we wish him the best of luck at Perkiomen Valley. Under academic affairs, you'll see that we are announcing the KidView schedule for next year, and we have several confidential contracts and several settlement and release agreements for students with special needs who are placed outside the district's programs. Under finance, you'll see in the first agenda item, we have our final budget. That hasn't changed since we presented it last month. So all of the numbers and components of the budget for next year are exactly the same. Items 2 through 4 accompany the final budget. They are items that allow us to complete the pieces for homestead exclusion, as well as the tax assessment and the dates for tax assessment so that families know when they need to pay their taxes. Items 5 and 6 are annual renewals. Items 7 and 8 allow our business office to conduct work over the summer months prior to our August 6th meeting. Last year, you may recall, we had an interim meeting scheduled at the beginning of August. We ended up not needing that because we were fully staffed. And so we went with our second meeting only. I'll let you know a little later in July whether or not we need that August 6th meeting. Item 9 includes 2 resolutions that are required to allow us to be qualified for some grant opportunities. These are grant opportunities related to sustainability and systems as part of our middle school renovation and addition project. And then item 10 is an updated pay rate for the PIAA officials for next year for all of our athletic seasons. That is negotiated through our Suburban One League, and we try to be consistent with our neighbors so that we can be competitive in getting the best officials we can for all of our athletic contests, both at the middle school and the high school. And then under property, you're going to see one item, which is a renewal through the IU Consortium for Trash and Recycling Services. So we pool our resources, try to make sure that we get the best negotiated price for trash and recycling. And so you'll see that as the last item on the agenda under property. And that'll conclude my administrative report. Thank you very much for a great year. The administration team really appreciates all of your support. We're grateful for your leadership of the district, and thank you for another good year. Thank you.
Thank you. Great update. Any comments or questions from the board? All right, and congrats again to our retirees. It's an aspirational goal for all of us to have time to enjoy after a career well spent. And I think for folks who have been able to participate in this district in particular, to be able to have an impact on students and those around you is really meaningful. So congrats to all of the retirees this evening. Okay, we will now move to public comments on agenda items, and we do have an updated policy, and Mr. Needleman's going to review that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bedard. We're going to turn now to public comments on agenda items. The public comment session at the beginning of the meeting shall be limited to no more than 30 minutes overall. The second public comment period shall be limited to no more than 30 minutes. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes. Commenters may not cede their time to other individuals. No individual may speak more than once on the same topic in either public comment session unless all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard and there is time remaining in the public comment period. Finally, all statements shall be directed to the presiding officer, Mr. Bedard. No participant may address or question school directors individually. With all of that said, I don't see that anyone has signed up to join us in person to speak on an agenda item. I'll ask if anyone who's joining us online wishes to speak on an agenda item. I will remind you, if you do want to, please just raise your hand. Let us know where you live in the township. And again, we do have a 3-minute time limit. All of that said, I don't see any hands raised. All right.
All right, thank you, Mr. Needleman.
Here.
And as previewed by Dr. Yannicka, we have quite a lengthy list of items for this evening, so buckle up and we will get through everything. Okay, so our first items up are procedural. We have approval of minutes. Recommended action here is the Board of School Directors approves the board minutes from May 21st, 2024, our regular board meeting. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second? Thank you. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Minutes are good. Our treasurer's report approval. Recommended action here is the Board of School Directors approves the May 31st, 2024 treasurer's report per the attachment. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Okay, treasurer's report is good. Next up is a special item, as we received a resignation from a board member, and we're going to open up the floor to nominations for anyone to fill that vacated board seat. And then we'll read the recommended action if we do have any nominations from this evening. So let me first open it up to the board for any nominations to fill the open and vacated board seat.
I would like to nominate Dr. Lee Aberly. She is a parent in our district and has been a frequent attendee at our board meetings and is also involved in some of our township activities. So I'd like to nominate Dr. Lee Aberly.
Thank you, Dr. Teretusky. Are there any other nominees for the vacated board seat? Okay, hearing none, I will read the recommended action for this evening. Recommended action, the Board of School Directors accepts the resignation of Carla Green effective June 18th, 2024, and the appointment of Dr. Lee Eberly effective June 18th, 2024, to fill the board vacancy until reorganization of the board in December 2025. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Thank you. Any comments or questions on this item?
Question. So, in terms of the nomination, are they, I guess the question would be, are they interested in the position? I presume they are. And what is their background and experience?
Okay.
Sure, I can speak to the interest. We had several volunteers in the community raise their hand and say that they would be open to the opportunity, and several board members had the opportunity to reach out to those individuals who volunteered, and Dr. Aberly expressed her interest to fill this position. In my conversations with Dr. Aberly, I would say her qualifications include both a dedication to the district. She has been one of the most frequent attendees of school board meetings since the year 2000, in my mental recollection, maybe longer, and had a lot of good things to say about the direction of the district, her dedication to supporting the district. But maybe I'll ask Dr. Teretusky to add on.
Yep. She is also a member of our Parks and Recreation Committee within the township, so that she has some connection with both our school recreation activities as well as the township. She also brings her knowledge of having a student in the district to this to the board, and has followed our, as Mr. Bedard said, has followed the board activities for several years now, and has brought comments to the board for consideration.
I just add one other factoid here on Dr. Eberly. She is a member of the Parent Advisory Committee that meets with the administration on a regular basis to represent parents' point of view with how the district is supporting students, and has worked with the administration as well on an additional advisory committee for parents with special needs children.
She's been a resident of the district for 16 years.
Any other thoughts? Great.
Okay.
Great. Any other comments or questions?
No.
Okay, great. Ms. Green, since this is appointing a position to the board, if we could poll each board member individually.
Sure thing. Mr. Needleman,
Aye.
Mrs. Hubley,
Aye.
Mrs. Hughes,
I'm gonna abstain.
Dr. Teretusky,
Aye.
Mrs. Bell,
Aye.
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Bedard.
Aye. All right, with that, we have the votes to fill the vacant position, and congratulations to Dr. Eberly. All right. Moving on to human resources, we'll head into our personnel file. The recommended action here is the Board of School Directors approves the following personnel as presented in the attachment: administrative personnel, certified personnel, support personnel, temporary personnel, 2024 extended school year program personnel, extra pay for extra responsibilities in 2024 through 2025, and conference workshop attendance. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second? Any comments or questions on personnel file? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you, Sarah. Any opposed? Say nay. And any abstentions? That will pass. Next topic, general healthcare resources. The recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the updated agreement with General Healthcare Resources LLC with an updated fee schedule effective June 18th, 2024 per the attachment. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say nay. And any abstentions? Okay, that will pass. Our next up is School Operations Services Group. Recommended action. The Board of School Directors approves the agreement with School Operations Services Group Incorporated for supplemental groundskeeping, instructional assistant, and food service staffing needs effective June 18th, 2024. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second. All right. Any comments or questions on School Operations Services Group? Yeah, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. And any abstentions? Thank you. That will pass. Next topic, temporary staff pay rates. Recommended action. The Board of School Directors approves the following temporary staff pay rates effective July 1st, 2024 per the attached documents. Pool staff, event staff, and day-to-day substitute staff. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions on temporary staff pay rates? Great. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. And any abstentions? Okay, that will pass. Under academic affairs, we have a couple of items here. First, KidView Incorporated Days Off Program. The recommended action. The Board of School Directors approves KidView Incorporated Days Off proposal for the 2024-2025 school year as per the attached. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second. Thank you. Any comments or questions on KidView Inc? Great. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say nay. And any abstentions? That will pass. Next item is Overbrook School for the Blind tuition contract. Recommended action here is the Board of School Directors approves the extended school year special education tuition contract between the Overbrook School for the Blind and Springfield Township School District from July 8th to August 8th, 2024 for student number 2024-0618-01 in the amount of $6,360. Is there a motion? All right, thank you. Double in a second. Double second. Any comments or questions on the tuition contract? Great. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. And any abstentions? That will pass. Next, again, we have two settlement and release agreements. The first, recommended action. The Board of School Directors approves the confidential settlement and release agreement for student number 2024-0618-02. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second. Any comments or questions on this settlement? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed
Aye.
say nay. And any abstentions? All right, that will pass. Item number 4, Recommended action. The Board of School Directors approves the confidential settlement and release agreement for student 2024-0618-03. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second.
Second.
Excellent. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Okay, that will pass. Item 5, confidential settlement and release agreement. The Board of School Directors approves the confidential settlement and release agreement for student 2024-0618-04. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second. Appreciate it. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? That will pass. We'll move to agreement for independent educational evaluation. The recommended action here, the Board of School Directors approves the provider to perform one independent educational evaluation for student 2024-0618-05 per the administrative file attachment. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. All right. Any comments or questions on this evaluation? All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? This will pass. All right, on to finance, where we have the big line item, our final budget vote. Our recommended action here, the Board of School Directors approves the budget resolution for the 2024-2025 school year with an expenditure budget in the amount of $72,075,712, requiring a tax rate of 39.0927 mils, representing an increase of 1.6834 mils or 4.5% over the current tax rate. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions on the final budget? All right, I'll just comment that the whole process leading up to the presentation of the budget to the public, and obviously having that available to the public went exceptionally well. So Ms. Green, thank you and your team on the administrative side for preparing that. It obviously addresses the objectives of the school district, and appreciate all the work that went into it. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Okay, the final budget will pass. I'm just going to pause for 1 minute. It looks like the Zoom shut down for me. I'm not sure if anyone else got that.
Yeah.
It's still running for me.
Okay, great. So sorry, you were able to vote on the budget?
Aye.
Excellent work, Ms. Hughes. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, we are back up and running. Our next item, the 2024-2025 homestead and farmstead exclusion. Recommended action here. The Board of School Directors approves the 2024-2025 homestead and farmstead exclusion resolution as required by Special Session Act 1 of 2006 for eligible taxpayers to receive taxpayer relief funds. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you, Ms. Hughes. Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Okay, that will pass. Next item, our real estate tax collection dates. The recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the following real estate tax collection dates for 2024 and 2025. Be a discount period of July 1st, 2024 to September 3rd, 2024. A face period for September 4th, 2024 to October 31st, 2024. And a penalty period, November 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions on the real estate tax collection dates? I would love, Ms. Green, if you could, for the benefit of the community, just describe the discount period and penalty period details.
Sure. So the district offers a discount period where you would receive a 2% discount on your total tax bill, which will be outlined on your tax bill. So each of the periods show the amount that's due at that time. So the period between July 1st to September 3rd, you would receive a 2% reduction. The face period means that between September 4th and October 31st means that you're paying the face amount. So there's no discount period if you pay after September 4th. And then anything that is after, that you pay after November 1st, you receive a 10% penalty. So all of those amounts will be outlined on the individual tax bill. So you'll be able to see those differences in payments on the due dates. So we encourage you to pay your bills during discount, so you get the 2% discount.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Any additional comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Excellent, that will pass. And finally, under this, no, that's not finally under this section. We have a couple more. For our 2024-2025 real estate tax installment plan. The recommended action here is the Board of School Directors approves the 24-25 real estate tax installment plan resolution for the installment payment dates of August 1st, 2024, September 30th, 2024, and December 2nd, 2024. Is there a motion? And a second. Thank you. Any comments or questions on the installment plan? Ms. Green, if I could ask you one more time, just to clarify what would be required for eligibility in the installment plan and how that would work for a taxpayer.
Sure. So the same thing when you receive your tax bill, you have the opportunity to not pay the full amount at one time during those collection periods. You have the ability to pay in installments over 3 periods, which are the dates that are identified there. There is a notation that if you fail to meet those dates, then you are put into a penalty period. So if you do sign up to pay in the installment periods, please make sure that you pay attention to the dates and make your installment payment on the dates that are identified on your installment plan.
And for clarity, opting into the installment plan is at face value to the tax bill?
It is at face. You are not eligible for the discount period if you pay at installment. So it is the face amount of your tax bill. And that is all identified in the tax bill packet that you will receive. So please read that information carefully.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And I just want to, on the technology side, I'm unable to join the Zoom. So I just want to make sure the Zoom is still live.
That's correct.
Excellent. All right. Thank you. All right. Any other comments or questions on the installment plan? Thank you for that, Ms. Green. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say
Aye.
nay. I'll repeat. Any opposed say nay. And any abstentions? Okay. Installment plan is good to go. Next item is insurance renewal. The recommended action here. Board of School Directors approves the 2024-2025 school district insurance renewals with CM Regent, American International Group Incorporated, Munich RE Group, and Ace American for a total of $503,555 as per the attached. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second.
Second.
Double second. Insurance is important. Any comments or questions on the insurance coverage? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. And any abstentions? Excellent. Please. Our next item is auditing services. The recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the engagement letter from Bars, Gowie, Amon, and Frotz, LLC, to conduct auditing services for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024, in the amount of $18,950. Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions on this auditing item? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? And any abstentions? That will pass. The next item, payment of bills, also a good thing. The recommended action here, the Board of School Directors authorizes the business administrator to release payment of bills as they become due and payable over the summer months of 2024. Is there a motion? And a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions on this item? Yeah.
Sure, it will begin after this board meeting, and then it will continue until we run the first board meeting of the new school year. So around now until August.
And for further clarity, because I think it's a great question, there's no new contracts, no new programming that we would anticipate anything outside of what's already been approved for ongoing bill pay that we should anticipate.
That is correct. All of the motions that have been brought forward to the board that reflect the 24-25 school year are in accordance to what the school board has to approve with the threshold that we have in our board policy. So anything that needed to be renewed or addressed by the board was brought forward to the board within the last few months.
Great, helpful. Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, let's vote on whether or not we can pay our bills. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? All right, our next item, budget transfers. Recommended action here, the Board of School Directors authorizes the business administrator to release budget transfers as needed over the summer months of 2024. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions on budget transfers? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? That will pass. Our next item, public school facility improvement grant resolutions. The recommended action here, the Board of School Directors approves the attached resolutions as required by the Commonwealth Financing Authority for submission of the public school facility improvement grants for Erdenheim Elementary and Springfield Township Middle School unit ventilator upgrades. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. All right. Any comments or questions? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? All right, let's hope these grants come through. That will pass. Item 10 under finance, PIAA official fees. The Board of School Directors approves the PIAA officials' fees as stated in the attachment effective July 1st, 2024. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? We're good to go with officials. We have no policy updates for this evening. We'll move to property section. We just have one item. That will round us out before we get to public comment. On waste management, our recommended action here. The Board of School Directors approves a renewal contract with Waste Management Services bid through the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit Number 23 Consortium for a term of 3 years, beginning July 1st, 2024, for trash and recycling at an annual amount of $23,251.86 and $10,480.92 respectively. Is there a motion? And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? I just have one clarifying question. This is a 3-year contract with 2 years outlined in terms of fees.
No, that's the breakdown for the trash.
Trash and recycling. So it's an annual number, 23,251.86 for trash
Yes,
and 10,480.92 for recycling.
correct.
Excellent. And so those will be flat for 3 years.
That is correct.
Excellent. Thank you for the clarity. Any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed,
Aye.
say nay. And any abstentions? Excellent. Good work getting through that lengthy agenda. We will now move to public comment on non-agenda items, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Needham.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bedard. At this time, we'll take public comment on non-agenda items. I do want to remind folks that we do have a 3-minute time limit. I do see that there are some folks who have signed up to join us in person. So there is a 3-minute time limit, and I will ask that you identify where you live in the township before you speak. I do want to read, because we have a new policy, I do want to read this through. The public comment session at the beginning of the meeting, as we stated before, shall be limited to no more than 30 minutes. The second public comment period, which is what we're in, shall be limited to not more than 30 minutes. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes. Commenters may not cede their time to other individuals. No individual may speak more than once on the same topic in either public session unless all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard and there is time remaining in the public comment period. Finally, all statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No participant may address or question school directors individually. And with that, why don't we turn first to the folks who are joining us in person. I see, forgive me, I'm not very good with reading this. Mr. Walmsley or Ms. Walmsley?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mr. Walmsley, please join us at the microphone and please let us know where you live in the township. I'll start the clock after you do so.
Address?
Just
General.
part of the township, general part.
Where you live?
White Marsh Avenue, near Morris Freedom.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me today. Do I need to turn this on? Or is it good?
Good.
It's on.
Okay, great. So I'm joining today. My name is Blake and Walmsley. I am a father of 2 daughters. They go to Enfield, or my oldest goes to Enfield. My second will be going soon. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I have for about 15 years worked with children in crisis settings, primarily suicidal and aggressive kids. And I mention that because over my 15-year career working with kids, I've had to navigate the difficult arena of technology. And it is incredibly hard, and it's growing at an exponential rate. I've also done a lot of research on technology addictions and recognize that there are benefits to technology, both personally and within school systems, but there are many deleterious effects as well. One brief anecdote I want to provide is that when I was a residential counselor, I worked as a crisis intervention leader at one point and oversaw the dorms. And what I noted is that some dormitories had leaders, adults, who would take kids outside on the weekends. They would promote creative activities in the arts, play soccer. And there were other dormitories where they would have children who would mostly watch movies or play video games. And I mention that because ultimately what we see with children, the outcomes of their behavior and with their mental health is dependent on the environments that we construct for them. And I think there's a balance to be had. And I'm hoping that we can achieve that. And I'm here today to help represent a group who is concerned with screen time, primarily at school. The main concern that I've been brought up to was Chromebooks in the middle school and for children accessing them at lunch. And that one's a real head scratcher for me because I think that we intuitively as parents, as young kids, had rules around dinner time and meal times and how that should be a place where we can talk to each other and develop the social skills. I think some of the other people here.
Excuse me, just 1 minute left.
Okay, I appreciate it. I think some of the other people here will represent some other concerns in that arena. But our children today are only going to have a few minutes left without screens. And it's just shrinking and shrinking by the moment, where the average kid is spending about 8 to 9 hours on technology a day. I want to preserve that time. I want to find creative solutions. So my proposal is that we work together with the parents here to figure out what those non-tech times can be and how we can balance it. Because I know, working in schools as a counselor, that it's incredibly difficult, but I do think there's a way to do it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next up. Next up is Pete D'Amico or D'Amico. Forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Please come up and just let us know where you live in the township.
Thank you. Name's Pete D'Amico. Live in Flowertown. I have a son who's about to go to middle school and a daughter who is still who's going into fifth grade as well. I just want to say thank you for everything you guys do. I sit on several nonprofit boards, all volunteer as well. And I know sometimes you question why you subject yourself to this, but you're all doing good things. So thank you. My wife originally wanted to be here. She would, I think, been better. She's a former high school teacher, but we're addressing screen time in middle school, especially with my son going there next year. She had wrote an email to Dr. Fuller and Dr. Yannico, and she asked that I read it here today. It says, my name is Jessica D'Amico. I currently have a fifth grader and fourth grader at Erdenheim. My son will be attending Springfield Middle School next year, and I have deep concerns regarding Chromebooks being used during lunch when assignments are finished in class and the lack of outdoor time offered during middle school hours. Adolescents should not have access to their Chromebooks during lunch. Mealtime should be for nourishment and socialization. It's our jobs as adults not to allow extra screen time for our children during a time when they need to learn to socialize with each other. Most children, when given the choice of using a screen or playing a screen-free game, will choose a screen. Erdenheim thankfully removed Chromebook access from their indoor recess this year, which allowed the children not to have choices to use the screens. My children in previous years have had to play by themselves during indoor recess because other children wanted to play games on their Chromebooks. I'm fearful this will repeat itself again in middle school. This is not just about sixth grade lunch, but all of middle school. Students should not have access to the Chromebooks when they finish assignments in class most of the days. Once again, when children are told they can use screens once they complete their lessons, most children will rush through. Even when filters are in place, there will always be workarounds for kids to access content that should not be available to access in school. Having been an educator in Montgomery County High School in the past, I am aware of the challenges presented when managing a class of 25 students who all work at different paces. I'm absolutely not asking for recess, but it is vital for children to be outside during the day. I've asked about access to outdoors in the middle school, and the response I received was once the children learn how to behave, they are on occasion allowed outside when they are finished eating. Unfortunately, when I've spoken to current middle schoolers and their parents, I've been
D'Amico, excuse me, just 1 minute left. Excuse me.
that kids rarely have been given an opportunity to go outside. Reasons provided have been some do not know how to behave, so it is ruined for everyone else, or there's not enough staff to watch the kids outside, or construction will be taking away the outside tables or outdoor classroom. There's another paragraph which I can skip, but I guess you guys get the gist of what we're trying to say here. You know, I think it's time that we all use common sense for middle schoolers in lunch where they don't have a lot of time to socialize. There's a lot of people here that are going to talk about the same thing, and it's going to be a continuous thing, meeting after meeting after meeting. So thank you for your time.
All right, Carolyn Popovich. Forgive me if I mispronounce your name. And please just let us know where you live in the township.
I'm sorry.
Please just let us know where you live in the township. Thank you.
Patton Road, Winmore. I value the advances that tech has afforded our society, small conveniences to life-saving inventions. It's without a doubt awesome and here to stay. I'm also fully aware that big tech equals big money, seemingly with no boundaries regarding the populations that are the means to those gains and no concerns about the trade-offs and personal sacrifices that their youngest customers experience. Kids 8 to 10 spend an average of 6 hours per day in front of a screen per the CDC. 11 to 14-year-olds spend an average of 9 hours per day. Our children are curious and determined when faced with a screen. I am certain that the current number of hours spent on a screen is not proportional to student overall gains. Why do we give one-to-one devices to our K-2 students? Why aren't we reducing screen time for grades 3 to 12? When I told my 7-year-old daughter, an Enfield student, that I was hopeful that she wouldn't have an iPad at school next year, she must have thought that I had already set the wheels in motion to make this a reality. She entered a very visceral, pre-meltdown stage reaction. Companies have been exploiting the educational space for a long time. In 2014, when Google was bypassing large public school district admin and instead individually contacting teachers to promote app sales in Chicago and Virginia, we should already have then been examining how we were carrying the message of branding and marketing for big tech companies. How I wish, because of the ubiquity of the screens surrounding our students, that tech companies were required to take an oath of do no harm. I ask you to prioritize our children's mental and physical health for what is tech without healthy members of society to apply it and/or to enjoy it. The Organization for Economic Development and Cooperation administers a questionnaire to 15-year-olds every 3 years. The 2022 results showed that 2/3 of surveyed students are distracted by using digital devices, and 54% said that they get distracted by other students who are using these devices. So even if it is not one child actively using a device, she or he is likely suffering consequences when someone nearby is using one.
Ms. Popovich, excuse me, just 1 minute. Thank you.
Are we surveying our students about the distractions caused by one-to-one devices, including cell phones, or do we not want to know the results? I'm a public high school teacher in a neighboring district. We parents have come here tonight to speak on this topic and represent many more. We are not an oddly concerned group of outliers. We have growing data to support our concerns. Not taking action would therefore constitute knowingly engaging in foundational harms of our student body. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next is Diana Bogovich. Forgive me if I mispronounced your name. Thank you.
Okay.
Please just let us know we live in the township.
Yeah, hi, Diana Bogachev. I live in Winmore. Thank you so much for having us tonight. Really glad to be here to get to voice my concerns as well about the technology use. I'm a parent of 2 students in our district. We moved here for the schools. We've been really happy with our experience. We've had great counselors, really great teachers, and felt very supported so far in their school careers. But when I heard that children were allowed to be up on their laptops during lunch in 6th grade and in middle school, I was really appalled. This is nothing that I would ever allow to have happen in my family. This is nothing that I would ever do out of respect to any other person that I was eating with or sitting with. And I'm concerned what we're teaching these children, that it's more interesting, it's more important to scroll, that deserves your attention rather than the human beings that are sitting at the table around you. I love this community, and I want to be part of a community where we see each other as humans first and foremost, and we can make eye contact and we can talk to one another. My kids will tell you I'm really big on, greet the school bus driver every day, like they're a person and they deserve that. I think that begins now. That begins with not allowing that, insisting that our students talk to one another at lunch rather than scrolling. I'm also concerned about some of the content. I've heard that kids have been accessing things that we don't need them to see when they're 12 years old, especially in the school environment. And also it's been concerning how cruel children can be to one another when they can hide behind the anonymity of a screen. So I really insist that we do better for everybody here, for our whole community and for our kids who are at these really vulnerable ages. Thank you.
Thank you. Next joining us is Alessia Bogachev.
Hello, my name is Alessia Bogachev. I live on Hawthorne Lane, and I am a student in the Springfield district. The students in my class talk about each other online, and it caused a lot of problems this school year. I feel like I cannot let my guard down because people are always taking pictures of each other and use them to make fun of people. I wish that we could talk to each other more instead of using screens more. I'm asking the district to make a change to our technology policy so that our social time can be spent together instead of looking at screens. Thank you.
All right, next joining us is Dan Finnegan. If you would, please just let us know when you live in the township.
Dan Finnegan, I live in Winmore. I brought my daughters, I'm gonna come on a slightly different take. I have to put a password in. I brought my daughter's Chromebook using the Wi-Fi that's here and the existing filters. And I work in technology. I actually work for Comcast and I do technology planning. Everything in my house is automated. I'm very apt in this space. And the fact that I'm against this should speak volumes. Basically what I did was I talked to her about what the last woman was speaking about the content itself. So first of all, I'm completely against it being at lunch at all. But having said that, the content that they're accessing is super easy to get to circumvent filters. Using professional tools, I could obviously circumvent this pretty easily, but I didn't want to do that. So I literally from my phone last night, Googled proxies to circumvent school filters. So obviously the word proxy by keyword is filtered, but proxies that don't have the word proxy in them are not. So right here I was able to bring up Paramount Plus, and I can bring up content that includes nudity and adult content. I have HBO Max over here. I can pull up Game of Thrones, and I am on the browser on the Chromebook that's issued by you guys. In addition to that, I spoke with my next door neighbor who's behind me, and she was going back and forth with me via text message. Her husband was able to actually pull up, I guess there's this trend on TikTok for school fights. And I literally have the video streaming right here of two boys in a bathroom beating the hell out of each other in a school. So the fact that TikTok itself is able to even be loaded, I mean, I did this in 30 seconds. Went to a Reddit post and there was 15 listed, 12 of them didn't work, 3 of them did. What I'm getting at is the only way to police this, it's always going to be a cat and mouse. There's always going to be new proxies set up. I mean, if I was a 12-year-old, I would set one up on my home desktop call that directly from the laptop. There's always going to be kids that are going to figure that out. The only way to fix this is have a blacklist policy. Everything is blacklisted except for the things that are whitelisted.
One minute left.
That I can see the rest of my time. That's it.
Very good. Thank you. All right, and next joining us in person is Aaron Finnegan. Please just let us know where you live in the township.
Aaron Finnegan, live in Winmore. Sorry, I wasn't expected to speak. I think he signed me up, but I will let you know, I was going through my daughter's Chromebook after the last day of school, and I was appalled. She spent easily the last week of school on YouTube, and I stopped counting at 300 links over the course of hours of school. 300 YouTube. It's used as rewards for finishing class work quickly. It's used specifically in math class for getting through classwork quickly, which I think we've had these calls. We had wonderful meetings with the assistant superintendent a couple months ago, but nothing, it's been a lot of talk. It's been a lot of, oh, lip service. Oh, yes, we hear you. But there hasn't been change. We've come specifically saying, get the Chromebooks out of lunch, get YouTube off, completely block YouTube. Absolutely. YouTube.com should be blocked. I don't care that there can be good content on YouTube. There's a lot more bad content on YouTube than good content. And there's a lot more educational content on non-YouTube websites that we can access for free or somehow paid. I think I cannot, YouTube is banned in my house. We call it weird videos. I just cannot speak enough about how much I hate YouTube. And I just want to be really clear. Going through the history is appalling to see what they have access to, what they're watching, just the titles of videos of woman gives birth. I'm like, why is this in school? This is just not educational. It should not be what they are spending their time on. So thank you.
Thank you. That completes the list of folks who are joining us in person. I'll turn now to the folks who are joining us online and see if anyone wants to raise a hand. I don't see any hands raised, so maybe we can give it 10 more seconds or so. I know we've been meeting for a while and I don't see any hands raised, so I think we can close out the non-agenda public comment section. Great. Thank you, Mr. Dunn.
We're still under our time limit?
Sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll allow an additional speaker if you just give your name and where you sit in the district, where you are in the district. Yeah, no problem. No problem.
All right. Hi, I'm Marjorie Bale and I live in Winmore. I just want to read something I had shared with Dr. Yannicone and Dr. Fuller probably about a month ago by email. So good evening, school board directors, Dr. Yannicone, parents and residents of Springfield Township. Speaking to you tonight as a parent of a rising sixth grader. My older son does not attend Springfield Middle School, so this will be our first time with a middle schooler in the district. As a parent and educator, I'm highly concerned about the free reign use of Chromebooks permitted during lunchtime at the middle school. My husband and I heavily monitor both of our sons' online usage and devices. We are saddened and shocked to hear from other parents in the district that their children have been exposed to sexually explicit, racially offensive, and violent content during their lunchtime at school. This is unacceptable to us, and we are expecting changes to be made for this upcoming school year. I have been an educator in a nearby public school for over 2 decades. That is a lot like Springfield in population size. 21 years teaching grades 6 to 8 in the area of reading intervention. I have seen a decline in attention span and focus in most recent years, which I believe without a doubt is related to technology overuse. I believe there needs to be a fundamental change in our post-distance learning teaching practices. I personally have made every attempt in my own classroom to minimize technology use, to bring back fundamental learning through traditional paper pencil activities. As a reading specialist, I see the value in training your brain when those modalities of learning are implemented. I've also done my fair share of lunch duty these past few years, to my dismay, of course. My school has a very strict no Chromebook device policy during lunchtime. There are several reasons for that. As educators, we feel this time is so valuable for students to foster relationships and connections with their peers. The temptation to pick Chromebook gaming or scrolling is very strong for our youth, so we take that equation out by not giving the choice. There is also a monetary reason for our decision. Chromebooks are most likely to be spilled upon, dropped, or even lost during this unstructured time. We do understand that the cafeteria...
Sorry, 1 minute left. I'm so sorry to interrupt. 1 minute left.
Okay. We do understand that the cafeteria can be an overwhelming place for some students. Our solution is to provide counselor rooms as well as library space for those students to decompress and enjoy a more quiet environment during their lunchtime. Throughout my years in education, I've come to the conclusion that there is a solution to every school problem that arises. In the past, there may not have been a strong need to address current policies or procedures, but certainly now there's a rising concern from the community of parents that needs to be recognized and addressed with fervor and commitment from the district. I would hope and trust that our wonderful Springfield community of educators and administration will spend the needed energy and time to find the solutions that we are expecting. Please know that as a parent and experienced educator in a middle school setting, I may have some insight into assisting in this process. So I welcome any and all communication and would be very happy to be a part of the solution process. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I don't see that anyone else has signed up to join us to speak in person, and I don't see any hands raised online, so we can really close out the public comment portion now.
Awesome. Thank you to everyone who took the time to attend the board meeting and share the comments. Really appreciate that. We do have some future meeting dates to announce. We have future board meeting dates. As mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, we have an interim board meeting tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, August 6th, 2024. And we are going to continue our hybrid tradition to be as inclusive as possible. And we have a regular board meeting on the calendar for Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. Reminder that all meetings are held right here in the Audion located in the middle school. And we love when members of the community and parents and especially students attend these meetings. So please do join us. And before we adjourn, I would want to ask if there are any comments, questions from board members on anything that we reviewed tonight or any of the comments from the public.
Just want to wish everybody an enjoyable, restful summer, particularly our staff and administration and the community. Thank you for a great school year.
Make one comment.
Well, yeah, I was going to open it up to you. Yeah, can I come up first and then?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I want to reiterate a thank you again to each of the community members that came tonight to reiterate some concerns that have been raised around technology use in middle school. This is a known issue. We've had comments in the past, certainly outreach to the board members and administration. It is my understanding the administration has met directly with some parents representing. And I do understand that there is a request for action and some of those actions haven't happened. I think that's just part of the process. So I did want to ask you, Dr. Yannicone, if you could talk a little bit about the process that you've been working with the parents on this topic.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to say, first of all, thank you for being here tonight. We're not used to having a nearly full house, so it's kind of nice to see members of the community joining us at a board meeting. And I did want to share, first of all, that many of our administrators are here this evening. They've heard your remarks. We have also met as an administrative team to discuss concerns that have been raised since last summer regarding technology use and the balance of technology use, both as a tool for good and as a risk for not good. Over the course of the school year, this spring, my most recent communication with one of the members of the committee, I shared that our intention this summer is to have our Director of Technology, Mr. Lutz, our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Johnston, as well as our middle school principals in particular, take a look at that current policy for access to Chromebook use at the lunch, which seems to be a very high area of concern for a number of our families. As you know, our middle school principal has resigned and taken a position in a neighboring school district, and we'll be hiring a new principal hopefully over the next month. Our goal is to have a middle school principal named by the middle to late July so that that principal could be on board by the start of the school year. It's an aggressive timeline, but that's our goal. Over the course of the summer months, Dr. Johnson and Mr. Lutz will meet with Mrs. Brady, with Mr. Payne, in order to begin some of the work in looking at both the policy, which was one of the requests of the committee, not only for lunch, but also in the balance of use. And Mr. Lutz has been conducting research across the county in the use of the filters that we have, as well as some of the concerns that have been raised about the ways in which our middle schoolers in particular are skirting that system. So we appreciate your information with regard to proxies. They are intelligent, committed adolescents when it comes to getting around the filters, and Mr. Lutz and his team is working diligently to work around to create stronger filters so that we're not able to do that at all times of the day. And we do recognize they also have access to the Chromebooks in the evening. But I expect that we will have updated policies and guidelines to share with the community by the third week in August, when you traditionally receive your back to school letters. And for those of you who are first time in the middle school, when you get that first letter from our new principal in mid-August. Okay, so again, thank you very much for your time. I wanted to thank Alessia. She's actually a member of my Erdenheim student advisory, so I've met with Alessia on a regular basis. And it was nice to see her here this evening. And thanks again for being here.
Thank you for that. And I'll just reiterate what Dr. Taratuski shared. I think this has been a really great school year. We've seen advancement of the objectives of the district, certainly seen Spartan pride come through in academics, in sports, in arts, in music. And I'm sure there's a much longer list than that, but what a great school year and a joyous end to the year. So thank you to the administration. Thank you to board members for your volunteerism that continues. Congrats to Dr. Aberle, who's joining the board, moving forward and stepping into next year. And again, appreciation to the full community. I think we're really all proud to be part of the Springfield community. So thank you and have a great summer, everyone. We'll adjourn.